We now know the identity of the camper killed in a suspected bear attack. Happened last week at the Sam's Throne campground in Newton County. That's in north central Arkansas. The sheriff there identified the person who died as 60-year-old Max Thomas from Springfield, Missouri. He's found dead Thursday night after his family requested a welfare check. Authorities say they found signs of a struggle and drag marks leading away from his campsite. They closed the campsite as they worked to find the bear. Now, 2 days later, a game camera captured this footage of a bear in the same area. This is a photo from that footage. Investigators say this helped them track down the animal they believe was responsible for the attack.
It's real unusual for bears to come into areas where people are anyway. Our thought process was that this bear had probably had a few meals, in that campground, possibly just people leaving scraps. We had seen some paw prints in the camp area where we put this camera and a bear trap, and we were lucky enough last night to get a shot of it.
The bear's body is now in Little Rock for necropsy and DNA testing. Game & Fish hopes to have those results by next week. And this comes less than a month after another deadly bear attack in Franklin County. That was the first recorded one in Arkansas since 1892. Game & Fish say they're looking into whether disease or any other factors might be affecting bears in the area.
Arkansas State Police say a man arrested after a high-speed chase with law enforcement in Fayetteville. It happened on Saturday and started with a traffic stop on I-49 near the Stephen Carr exit. Investigators said he led officers on a chase until he crashed on Sang Avenue. State police identified the driver, who was arrested as Dustin Paulman from Forest City, Arkansas. Police later learned the vehicle was stolen. He is behind bars tonight in the Washington County Jail, facing several charges related to that crash. Arkansas being recorded as the only state with a significant rise in suicide rates nationwide from 2022 to 2023.
That's according to the latest findings from the CDC. 5 News reporter Lauren Spencer joins us now. And Lauren, just how big of an increase are we talking about?
In 2023, the Arkansas Department of Health says 626 Arkansans were lost to suicide. They say that's about 80 more lives lost than the previous year. New CDC findings say that's more than a 12% increase in 1 year. Deputy Chief Medical Officer Dr. Bala Simon with ADH says the rise is tied to several factors, including limited access to mental health care, high rates of substance use, and the lingering effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. He says 1 in 5 adults in Arkansas live with a mental illness, but nearly half don't receive treatment. And the crisis has been building for years.
It's been a product of increasing mental health crises in the state and across the nation, and also lack of access to mental health services and the providers.
ADH says community involvement and partnerships, as well as destigmatizing mental health, are crucial to bringing suicide numbers down. Lauren Spencer, 5 News.
Lauren, thanks. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders announcing a new initiative today aimed at getting more people off government welfare programs in Arkansas. It's called the 1033 Initiative Program. For the next year, the pilot program will partner with support organizations to get people out of poverty and on track to become self-sufficient and financially independent. A new case management system will also act as a hub to help Arkansas nonprofits collaborate.
We will integrate Hope Hub and Care Portal so that a person in need can be surrounded by every level of support. Government agencies, professional services, and caring neighbors, all working together. This means that when someone reaches out for help, they're not entering a maze, they're entering their community.
Pilot program will focus on Central Arkansas before expanding out to the rest of the state. It is expected to serve as many as 500 Arkansans. New at 6 tonight, there's new legal action being taken against Arkansas's governor and Secretary of State over the timeline of that special election to fill the state Senate seat vacated by the death of Gary Stubblefield. Franklin County resident Colt Shelby filed the lawsuit today through his attorney. He's challenging the timeline for this election. Right now, the primary is scheduled for March 3rd, the same day as Arkansas's general primary. The special election itself is June 9th. Now, the timeline has faced backlash from people who believe it will leave the district without proper representation. You can follow updates on this legal challenge and any responses from the governor and secretary of state on our website at 5newsonline.com.
Democrats and Republicans are blaming each other as the government shutdown stretches into week 2. Erica Brown has the latest from the Capitol, where there's no sign of movement from either side.
The Senate reconvened Monday afternoon to vote once again on Republican and Democratic measures to reopen the government, but both proposals have failed to advance multiple times.
If the Democrats do not vote to open the government tonight, federal workers will not receive their next full paycheck.
Democrats are holding out for extending Affordable Care Act tax credits expiring this year and rollbacks to Medicaid cuts, but Republicans insist the shutdown needs to end first by passing a short-term spending bill.
The only reason the government is shut down is because Democrats refuse to accept a clean, nonpartisan funding extension.
Senate Democrats returned to Washington ready to negotiate. We're ready to work with Republicans to reopen the government.
Speaker Mike Johnson canceled plans for the House to return to Washington this week in an effort to put pressure on the Senate to pass a spending bill. Hundreds of thousands of federal workers remain furloughed during the shutdown, with some essential employees like military personnel and air traffic controllers working without pay. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy warned air service to some communities could be impacted.
That money runs out this Sunday. So there's many small communities across the country that will now no longer have the resources to make sure they have air service in their community.
A new CBS News poll shows 39% of Americans blame President Trump and congressional Republicans for the shutdown. 30% blame Democrats and 31% blame both equally. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Experts say a food aid program that helps low-income mothers and young children will run out of federal money within 2 weeks if the shutdown doesn't end.